Not so important. I think health is more important. I'm just happy to have enough to survive, pay the rent, put a roof over my head, and my kids and my family are more important than financial.
It's important insofar as the things that it can buy me that I need for myself and my family. It's obviously, money tends to be important in that it helps to provide us with the things that we need. Unless we can get them some other way, but I found working for money is the best way to learn to get it.
Well, it's sort of important. It's, everything is built on that, right? You're doing a lot of things to achieve something like a reasonable level of well-being. Let's put it this way.
I just need to be comfortable. I don't need a lot.
Yeah, definitely important to my, not necessarily to my well-being, because I have parents who will support me financially nonetheless, but in terms of happiness, definitely, because if you don't have money, you can't buy white jeans every week.
Yes and no.
I'm sure which direction they're taking us, but I'm sure they know what they're doing. They've been elected, so I approve of the system that elected them, and I believe it's a strong, robust system which will probably give us in the right direction. I think we're a pretty big ship, and so perhaps it takes a little while to turn ships, and as long as they don't stop ships altogether, it'll be fine, because starting it up is harder. Yeah.
Well, basically, yes. Basically, yes.
I do approve of the direction, but I wish that we took a little bit more emphasis on doing something about climate change. I'm really concerned about it.
Not necessarily. Well, I did vote for Howard, and I don't necessarily like Mr. Rudd so much in terms of the economic stimulus package. Not agreeing with it. Love the $950, but don't think that it's in any way going to assist us, do you know what I mean, in getting out of the turmoil or whatever. So, not necessarily, no.
I'm not so sure about the handout, the big handout of, I reckon that the money would be better spent on hospitals, physical education for kids at school, healthy living, teaching children how to get on in relationships and things like that. I sort of think more money should be spent there better than school assembly halls.
I think we need some additional planning on a big scale. Look at the fires. Look at our environment. Look at the big issues like nuclear power, alternative power, railroad system and so on. That's basically, we have to think about that, plan something and do it eventually.
Perhaps a little more forethought, right? Rather than maybe a band-aid solution, perhaps invest the money, rather than give me $950 to go spend on some some item that was made overseas and supporting overseas labour or whatever, that perhaps invest the money in some long-term infrastructure that will, actually assist Australians. Yeah.
I would support a 4-day working week if I could afford to do it.
I've worked 4 days a week for about 26 years, and recently I had to start working 5 days. It was harder to just simply make ends meet, so I've started working the Tuesdays as well. So, but in theory, I would support the concept of certainly one could. I'm not talking about luxuries. I'm just talking about making it work, and have some level of, self-sufficiency would be the. Yeah.
Well, I am fine with that. Yes, I think that if it will make more people working and getting their salaries or whatever they're making, why not? Why not? I mean, France did it. Some countries in Europe took this direction, If it will help to sort out some social issues, we should think about it carefully and once again, why not?
Yes, definitely. Money, but more free time.
Totally, for sure. More than anything. I'm pushing for every day, but.
Melbourne, yeah, it probably is more livable now. Public transport's pretty good. Maybe we need a bit more infrastructure for all the housing estates that are being made in the outer suburbs. They need public transport, schools and facilities, community things, community stuff.
Well, how to put it? On one hand, Melbourne is becoming much more diversified. It's a trend. I came here 20 years ago. On the other hand, it's becoming a bit more crowded than it's necessary. Sometimes on the big days, so to say, on holidays, at celebration time, we need to develop more nice places, not only in the heart of the city, but in different suburbs as well. So it's about city planning.
Thank you so much. We've been here for about 4 years, and I'm very happy here. I think it's very livable. I can move around easily. Trams make my life easy, and I can access most things that I want.
Well, 5 years ago, I was only 17, so 16. So I don't know, I guess you have a different sort of understanding of the city, because obviously I was at school then, now working in the city, etc. But I definitely think in terms of violence and things like that, obviously violence in the city has escalated so much recently. Public transport, I don't know if it's just that it's come to the forefront of the attention, but I would say no. If you ask me the question, yes or no, I'd say no.
Traffic's a little bit heavier. That's like an honest observation. But I think the place is getting better and better all the time. I think we're actually moving in a positive direction. Even though a lot of people are talking about terrible things happening, there seems to be things. I believe both things are happening at once. We're going through a time when things are happening faster. And generally the world is a much better place. People are much better than they used to be. I think we keep improving. I'm an optimist.